Oh man. Welcome back. So I know y'all saw if you watched the other video, it was up there. We had a few technical difficulties, so we decided to do it again because we like to keep our stuff in good quality.
Um,
So
other mess.
yeah, so y'all already know what it is. It's the Bad Post Sports Podcast with your man Fonz.
And Quan.
Well, if you saw the video, you know how I'm doing. I had some parlays working, and ain't none of them hitting.
Yeah, I did good. I behaved myself because normally, I play some parlay
Mhm.
probably almost every day, if I'm being honest. But I said, today I'm gonna be a good kid and just enjoy the game because
Mm,
put money on the line, it stresses you out just a little bit more
it
than
does.
usual. So I ain't want to take away from that moment.
Yeah,
So I behaved myself.
yeah. I mean, even though like I didn't hit on my parlays or whatnot, I still had a good time here with family. We cooked on the grill, and I made some grilled barbecue wings, and
Okay, all right.
my old lady made some baked beans, and she had her beef burgers. I had my turkey burgers.
Well, so now
What's up, boy? So I'm hanging on by a string.
I hear you.
But we're gonna go ahead though and knock this post-game review out the way. So the Philadelphia Eagles are victorious on tonight. They thrashed, dismantled, put down, kicked around the Kansas City Chiefs by a score of 40-22. Uh that score does not indicate the closeness of that game. Point blank period. So like I said in the other video, it might as well have been 40-0. Because I'm sitting back in my lazy boy and I'm like, we're about to have a Super Bowl that the opposing team did not score a point. And what made it funny, and this is another point I really didn't get to in the other video, but what made it funny, it felt like an Eagles home game in the Superdome because you did not hear a lot of Chiefs fans in there. You always heard at every big Eagle play, you heard "Fly Eagles Fly."
Yeah, it was a lot of Eagles fan in the building and New Orleans, which was, very shocking. I
Yeah.
mean, it did feel like a home game, especially after all the damage they did.
Mm.
The game was like, yeah, momentum is definitely on their side.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, from I say not even midway the first quarter on to the middle of the third quarter, the Eagles had firm control of that game. Uh Big shout out to Vic Fangio, man. He sent relentless pressure, and more often than not, that pressure got home. I think Mahomes was sacked 6 times,
Yeah.
and on two back-to-back drives, my man's was sacked back to back. He couldn't get nowhere. Soon as he couldn't even fart, and, and the Eagles was just, they stuck their talons in his back. I mean, that is the way you beat the Chiefs. That is the way you do it. So I hope the rest of the NFL, all jokes aside, I hope that the rest of the NFL is really paying attention to how to throttle and slow down the Chiefs. Not saying it's going to work every time because you need a defensive front like the Eagles.
Right. Yeah, let's start there first. Yeah.
Let's start at the Philadelphia Georgia Bulldogs. Um, the Eagles really rebuilt the defensive line, and they did it in short order. Uh, you got to start there. And their secondary. Let's talk about their secondary. Cooper DeJean, a rookie,
Yeah, young buck, about 20 years old.
20 years old. He's living out every fantasy that a young man has ever had. That's an athlete, and that is to, especially if you play on the defensive side of the ball, and that is to get a pick six.
You're right. Yeah.
And then a little bit after the pick six, another pick.
Yeah.
that put the Eagles inside the 20, that was when the game was over.
Yeah, game was over like first half. Before we get in halftime, we already knew the game was over. I mean, yeah, it was crazy, man. Like I said, the defense, like we already said before, we say it again. The Eagles defense totally had a field day with this Kansas team. One defense showed up and another one didn't. And I think we all knew that, the Eagles defense, the Eagles team as a whole, I feel like honestly, most of the time in the NFL, you either have a good offense or a good defense. And Eagles is just one of those teams where they just balance on both sides of the ball, which is just very hard to do in the NFL and very, unheard of commonly, in the NFL, man. So, I mean, big shout out to their defense, forcing turnovers and you making Patrick Mahomes feel uncomfortable in the pocket. Um, and
Very much so.
and the drop passes from his receivers didn't make the game any better. They totally just looked lost out there. Totally, just stripped all hopes that they had of having a three-peat from them in the first half. Like I said, the game was over in the first half. Like
Yeah.
it was over before it even started. And most like people like Tom Brady who was, you know, um analyzing this game. He was like, don't let up, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Don't fall asleep, continue to play the same ball. And he's about the only notable quarterback of recent who's came back from a deficit in the second half. So of course he was such. Um,
Atlanta.
it wasn't no BS calls with the ref.
Right. I
Um,
forgot to even mention that.
I mean, it was just honestly, I mean, they ain't have no nonsense with them this Super Bowl. Thankfully,
Right. It made it an enjoyable game to watch, to be
the only,
honest.
the only the only call that I feel is questionable was I think it was that offsides right before the Eagles kicked that field goal, and they called it on Philly, and I felt like the Chiefs jumped off sides
Mm-hmm.
before the Eagles players even moved. I ain't see nobody on the Eagles jump first. I
Right.
I thought Kansas was offside. I thought it was going to be an automatic first down, but of course it wasn't. But that was about the only call. I mean, that PI call was not one that everybody liked, but at the same time, I mean, AJ Brown did mush the boy in his face mask
Yeah.
while the ball was getting to him. So I mean, even though the corner probably didn't even know the ball was coming, you still can't mush
Mm-hmm.
nobody in the face mask. So I mean, but outside of that, man, I mean, the
The refs were really balanced.
the strap boys, them stripe boys, they did all right.
I think it's because I think Roger Goodell had something to do with that because they was getting questions all week long about them referees.
Referees,
And
yeah,
you got to, I mean, I ain't no conspiracy theorist or nothing, but you got to clean up your act on the biggest game. And then when the world watch it,
right, yeah.
the half of the world already believes that the refs do favor the Chiefs. And I mean, honestly speaking, there's been some cases where the refs did favor the Chiefs. But tonight was a very balanced game by that referee crew. I feel like they should referee all Chiefs games.
Just hire him on full time.
I mean, even when they was really teeing off for Patrick Mahomes like that, like I was expecting at least one rough in the passer or one unnecessary roughness. They
Yeah,
ain't called none of that, and
nothing.
I'm like, oh, so this that type of game.
I ain't no conspiracy theorist or anything, but when Vegas has a call, I think, when a certain amount of people bet on somebody, they, kind of need them to lose.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think a lot of people, honestly, like myself, I thought that, like we said, like we talked about last show, I believe we made our early predictions. I thought the Chiefs was going to win by 3, and they got blown out by 30, toward 20. Well, the cleanup score, but really they
Yeah,
got
that we not counting that on this platform.
blown.
That was garbage.
But
That's because Philly let up on him. Don't even give.
it was cleanup score type of thing after
Yeah.
a while. But I mean, like I said, man, just a dominant defensive game by the Eagles, just totally relentless for all 4 quarters. And it's just gonna be intriguing to see what happens next for Kansas. Um, what they gonna do coming, this offseason. This offseason is gonna be interesting. I mean, I'm pretty sure we'll do a show on some of the news that came out of recent in the NFL with certain things. Um, well, I wonder what this brings to Kansas, man, because they totally got punched in the mouth by uh Eagles team who didn't have to use Saquon Barkley. So,
Mm,
shockingly, which a lot of people, probably thought they was going, just run with Saquon, and they didn't have to, man. They had
mm-mm.
a lot of big plays with throughout the air. And it's just a lot of question marks for Kansas and what this brings to Mahomes. I mean, I think he's still a great quarterback, don't get me wrong. Um, but it was sort of disappointing to see them let this game get as far as out of hand as it got. I mean, it was like I said, it was kind of hard to watch, man. The Super Bowl was over before it got started.
It won't disappoint to me.
I mean, for me personally, man, I was going for Kansas just for the historical moment. Honestly, I feel like the three-peat just would have been historic. I mean, of course, it would have been historical, but
I think it would have been the only one.
well, they mentioned the Green Bay one,
Yeah,
and
that was before our time. Though.
but
Dang.
but I mean, it's the first time in modern day football that
Yeah.
happened, and I just feel like it would have been something to talk about. Um, it would have brought a lot of question marks for the GOAT, Tom Brady, and what he is and everything. But unfortunately, we can't have that conversation. We got to have the conversations of the success of Patrick Mahomes versus Jalen Hurts, and of course, he won Super Bowl MVP. Um, but yeah, man, they played a great game, dog. I mean, they wanted it. And they had the team. Like we said, I don't think nobody ever discredited the Eagles. I think
Mm-mm.
everybody knew they was a for real team, and I think in my eyes, they're you know, only team that I've seen that has had a balanced football team on both sides of the ball. Man, like I said, that is very hard to do in the
Yeah.
NFL. Have a good defense and to have a great offense to match. That's just unheard of. And I feel like they deserve it, man, especially the way they played. They ain't let the Chiefs into because I feel like a lot of times when you play the Chiefs, man, you got a lot of pressure on you, man, because they done been to multiple Super Bowls. You're playing against arguably one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
And then if you breathe on the wrong way, you might get a
You might
flag. You
get
know.
a flag and they showing Taylor Swift, and I mean it's a lot that comes with playing Kansas, man. But the Eagles, they stepped up to the occasion and they won the Super Bowl. So
Yeah.
congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles and Meek Mill and all them everybody that represents
Kevin Hart,
and
Jill
Kevin
Scott, The
Hart,
Roots,
you know,
Freeway,
Philly, have some fun.
Philly, Philly.
They in a great place to have a lot of fun and
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Cheesesteaks about to run wild on Broad Street. I'm trying to tell you now.
yeah,
Free
man.
cheesesteaks for everybody. Quan paying for
Oh,
them.
uh, I think you should get that to the MVP, Jalen Hurts or Saquon.
I'm trying to tell you. But let's kind of switch gears. So we talked about the Eagles and everything. Let's talk about the Chiefs, especially on defense. Um, they did a good job executing their game plan. I feel like their game plan was to key in on Saquon Barkley because they refused to let him run for 150, 200 yards against them. Granted, the Chiefs have been doing very well, exceptional in stopping the run
Right, yeah.
this past
I
season.
mean,
So
expected.
that was expected for it to happen. But one thing I hated about Steve Spagnuolo tonight, and I kind of alluded in the other show, is that he sent that patented blitz, that all-out blitz that he do. And every quarterback he sent that blitz to, they've always failed, except for the night.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel like it was just a panic button for him. I mean,
Yeah,
he had to do something. The score was out of hand, and I feel like he was just going for it at that point. Really,
yeah. He was
play.
throwing everything but the kitchen
I
sink
mean,
at this
they
point.
did blitz quite a bit, and Jalen Hurts handled it well. Big shout out to that offensive line that he got.
Yeah,
I mean, like I was telling James, man, the other day, I just really feel like the offensive line is good. He disagreed, but I really feel like the offensive line is pretty good. Any running back that can rush for over 2,000 yards obviously has a decent offensive line in front of them. Now the Eagles has had success with running backs prior to Saquon getting there, but Saquon is the difference maker because he is well, mm, what will
he was the missing piece.
yeah, I mean, he was the missing piece of the team, and I was gonna say he's the elite running back. I mean, of course, we know Saquon was good, but we ain't really see the fruition of Saquon until he got to Philly because the Giants. I mean, yeah, he had a few. I believe he had a few 1,000-yard seasons with the Giants here and
But
there.
then too, he was hurt a lot.
He was hurt a lot too.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
then they were trying to shortchange him, on the money.
you're right, that too. So he won't running as hard as he was running in Philly, but
Philly gave him the bag. He said, "Yes, sir. I
yeah,
do
yeah, do it.
it."
Yeah, he ran through everything. So, um, but yeah, man. I mean, Saquon, Jalen Hurts looked very poised back there. Big improvement from what we have seen in the past in big games like this. I mean,
Mhm.
he's really came to fruition of his full self as a elite quarterback that is in the conversation of maybe a top 7, top 10 quarterback in the NFL. Um, yeah, so I mean, he played great, man. I mean, like I said, created plays on the offensive side of the ball. AJ Brown was a little frustrated here and out because he's the star receiver, but star receivers, majority of them are drama queens, and they want the ball, but I feel like, man, listen, man, you're in the Super Bowl. I mean, I know you trying to get your money,
You gonna
but
get paid regardless because you're there.
I mean, oh man, chill out. Well, once AJ Brown got his touchdown, he kind of, loosened up a little. But at first, man, he was frustrated, man.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, man, great game, great game for the Eagles, man. They took down the bullies in the NFL, and
they bullied the bullies.
they bullied the bullies, man. You got to punch them in the face, don't let them talk to you any type of way.
The best part about that just the whole game as a whole, Philly was the aggressor.
Hmm.
They were way more physical than Kansas City. They didn't even allow Kansas City to get their lick back until late in the game, and by that time it was over. Um, Kansas City, hey, no, we ain't got to hear about no three-peat. So I ain't got to scroll through social media talking about the three-peat loading.
And, uh,
Y'all out there shooting blanks.
good. Got them
But
down.
I mean, but they still I mean, right now they are the reigning defending AFC champion.
Right.
So the road to the Super Bowl still goes through them. However, like I said earlier, I think Philly kind of sort of is writing the book on how to slow them down. If you slow them down just enough, you're gonna get a couple of stops here and there. Your offense just got to take care of it.
Right, and they did, man. I mean, like I said, they ain't let up off the gas. Even when the score was out of hand, they continued to score. I mean, whether it was 3 or 7, man, they took it, and
Yep.
they did what they had to do, man. I mean, big
Didn't see only seen one tush push.
right.
That's- wow. But the way it's, I mean, a game is like you got the peaks and you got the valleys, you got the ebbs and you got the flows. The way that game dictated, they didn't really need the tush push
Right, right, right,
because when your defense, like I say, your defense is creating turnovers. They got 3 of them. And then your defense scoring points off turnovers.
mhm,
And then your defense is putting you in great field position. You have no choice but to win that game. I
right.
respect. I mean, officially, Nick Sirianni and Doug Peterson has done more for the Philadelphia Eagles than Andy Reid. I'm sorry, I had to throw that dig in there.
Man, you're a dirty dog.
I'm a dirty one, boy. I'm a dirty boy. Low down, boy.
Before we get about the game, man, let's briefly just give our opinions about the Super Bowl halftime show, and then we can call it. How
Yeah, so
how you felt about it?
I mean, I'm just getting into Kendrick Lamar's music. Um, what got me in it was, what was the song he put out before Not Like Us? It was Meet the Grams, I think.
Don't get me the line, brother. Hold on.
And well, it was that song that kind of got, because I was like, "Dag, he went there." And then I kind of researched their little beef and whatever. But getting back to the halftime show, I mean, I liked it. It was not Prince. It was not MJ.
Mike, yeah, Mike, yeah,
Mike had grown men crying.
Mike, Mike could be one place at 1 second and another place another second, and
That was
yeah,
never been done before.
yeah, never been done since then. I mean, hey,
I
you talking about
mean,
a performer, man? You know, mm-hmm.
right now, like Mike and Prince, it's like 1A, 1B. And you could put them wherever you want to put them. Especially that Prince show was special. But Kendrick Lamar, I'm gonna put it to you like this. Don't get me wrong, the halftime show was pretty dope. I would have rather had seen New Orleans artists.
Yeah, a lot of people said Lil Wayne.
Lil Wayne, Hot Boys, Juvenile, all them boys. Manny Fresh up there on the ones and twos in the MPC making beats.
Yeah.
That's what I would have wanted to see. Like when they did this, when they had the Super Bowl in LA, I think that
Dr.
was,
Dre and Snoop.
yeah. You had West Coast out there. Then Dre kind of put the other artists that he, produced for there, they like 50 Cent and Eminem. So that was cool.
Right, yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed that because a lot of Dre's music, especially from the 90s, that's what I grew up on. I grew up on The Chronic.
Yeah, man.
Literally and figuratively, but you can take that however you want to do it. But and I enjoyed that, but I can't. I'm not gonna rank. I mean, I'm not hating, but I can't put him. I can't put Kendrick Lamar's halftime show up there with MJ and Prince because that's the gold standard.
Oh no, man! Oh man!
But it definitely
That's
it was not The Weeknd.
no,
The
the weekend
Weeknd's halftime show was
trash.
weird to me.
Yeah, and that was trash. I mean, a lot of people say the Kendrick Lamar halftime show was trash. I don't really think it was complete garbage. I mean, you got to think about it. Kendrick is not a performer. He's just a rapper
Yeah.
or an artist. He's not gonna go out there and perform like other artists that we mentioned. I do think it was pretty dope though. I mean, I like a lot of his songs that he recently came out with outside of the Not Like Us.
Yeah. Like the
The
album he just dropped, I think back in December.
the GNX album.
Yeah.
I think it was pretty good, man. And then having Samuel Jackson.
What it was so many subliminals in that joint. He was dressed as Sam, the United States thing, and he was dressed up like him. This is your Uncle Sam. I
Yeah,
said, yo, subliminal messages galore.
yeah,
So I'm looking forward to the video.
right,
Somebody gonna put a video out there that's breaking down each subliminal message that K Dot put out there.
right.
But I mean,
It was
I like Kendrick Lamar. You've been knowing me for a while. I want into the new stuff. I want you give me some, give me some. You look at my playlist, you're like, dag, you old. But but to me, it's not old. Some of that music is timeless. And I mean, with Not Like Us, again, it's a diss record. But that was the culmination of a beef that, since died down. I was a little surprised that he did it for the show. I was not expecting him to do that for the show.
Me too, man. I mean, I didn't think he was gonna do it, but at the same time, I mean, if he did it at the Grammys, then why wouldn't he do it at the Super Bowl? I
That
mean,
is facts. I mean, that got him 4 Grammys
At
sitting
this
on the
point,
shelf.
it's out of control, man. I mean, nobody has any type of. I mean, yes, I know we got lawsuits with the labels and everything, but at this point, man, I mean,
Which is super corny at
it's
this.
it's it's a hit. It's a hit song for him.
It's a hit.
It
It's going to be in the history. I ain't gonna say history books, but it's going to go down in history.
right,
It's going to be one of them songs 20 years later. You're going to hear it and remember everything that took place.
right, exactly. Yeah, that's one of those type of tracks. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, in the comments, I know a lot of y'all, y'all know we got to go to work tomorrow. And a lot of y'all ain't watching. So if y'all watch the replay of this live, let us know in the comments what y'all thought about the halftime show.
right.
But I think we can go ahead and call it right now because my eyes getting a little heavy,
Yeah, brother, I'll tell you.
Yes, sir. But again, congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles. Fly, Eagles, fly. All that good stuff. The Kelly Green. Press pause. That Kelly Green uniform, that old school uniform. I'm not an Eagle fan, but I love that uniform because of the talent y'all had with that uniform. The
Right.
big homie, the big homie from Miami. I forget Jerome somebody. I forget his last name. I'm tired, so y'all forgive me. And y'all had the Minister of Defense, Reggie White. Jerome Brown, that's his name. Reggie White, Randall Cunningham, all them boys, man. That's what when I see that Kelly Green, that's what I think of when I see it. So y'all keep that in your rotation, please.
Right.
Um, but yeah, let us know in the comments and everything. And also if you're watching the show, I see a lot of y'all watching. Again, we got some new subscribers. I think her name Tabitha Johnson.
Yeah.
We appreciate you for subscribing to our channel. We appreciate everything about that. Please tell somebody if you think our content is good. Please tell somebody. Help us out.
Right. Yeah.
Help us out because as always, we're trying to get that YouTube money. Because we needed him trying to retire early now, daggone. But and if you're on Facebook, hit us up at the Bad Boy Sports Podcast War Room. Just go on Facebook, search Bad Boy Sports Podcast War Room. You see it. One of us will let you in there. We're both the admin of this, so one of us will get you in there. My Quan will probably let you in there before me because he be on it, boy. But we're gonna go ahead and bounce out here. You got anything you want to add, bro?
Not at all, man. Let's make sure y'all let us know how y'all felt about the Super Bowl. Let us know how you feel about what this brings to Mahomes, whether it blemishes his light as an elite quarterback. Let us know how you feel about it as a whole, halftime show included. And we appreciate y'all, man. We want y'all to be a part of it. And y'all have a great night and happy Monday because about Monday.
Darn near Monday, so I hate Mondays. But I'm gonna go ahead. So we're gonna go ahead and just clock on out of here. So this has been a live version of the Backport Sports Podcast with your man Fonz.
And Quan.
And we are out. Good night, everybody, and
Night.
God bless you.